went already. Just now I went live.
Jai, thank you.
पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीला गुरुदेव की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our Bhakti Sangha mid-morning session. Hare Krishna, Archana Bhakti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving your precious time and being with us today. And since it's already 11 o'clock, shall I just read Srila Prabhupada's quote and hand over the call to you, Mataji? And thank you so much for waiting, Mataji. Okay. The Srila Prabhupada's quote for today is, failure is the pillar of success. Then try. Again you shall try. This was instructed by His Divine Grace at Vrindavan on August 17th, 1977. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Mataji, Hare Krishna, thank you so much. And Her Grace Archana Bhakti Mataji will be talking on Chaitanya Mangal Sutra Khandas from 2nd chapter, verses 485 to 495. So we are all eagerly waiting. Mataji, please take over. Hare Krishna.
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। श्री चैतन्य मंगल की जय। श्रील लोचनदास ठाकुर की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining in today's Sri Chaitanya Mangal session. Am I audible? Is my volume clear and loud enough?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Mangal Sutra Khanda, and in that I'll just tell you the context, what we are reading, what we have been reading in the past couple of sessions. So Narad Muni, so even before that, Damodar Pandit's question to Murari Gupta about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's acceptance of sannyas and his behavior, why he is, in ecstasy. So in answer to that, Murari Gupta started off by saying how Narad Muni, being a great Vaishnava, is feeling compassion for the people of Kali Yuga. And then Narad Muni went to Dwaraka. So this is happening in towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, just before Kali Yuga started. So he went to Dwaraka, and there Krishna was revealing the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rukmini Devi, and Narad Muni got darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Narad Muni to go all over the universe, because Narad Muni has access to all planets. He can just go anywhere. He can even go to the spiritual world. So just go and announce that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to appear. So Narad Muni went to, first of all, on the earth, he went to Naimisharanya, met with Uddhava. Then he went to Kailash and met with Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi. And from there he went to Lord Brahma. So we saw the conversation between Lord Brahma and Narad Muni. So Narad Muni, as usual, he informed Brahmaji about the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to appear in Kali Yuga. And when Brahmaji heard this, he became ecstatic. Brahmaji is the first person. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. He is the Adi Kavi. And he received the Vedas, the Vedic knowledge, directly from Lord Krishna. So Brahmaji, being very pleased, he informed Narad Muni. First of all, he established the supreme position of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then in that Srimad Bhagavatam is mentioned. So that Srimad Bhagavatam tells us about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And so very philosophically, by quoting so many verses, Lord Brahma established that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to appear. From Bhagavad Gita also, right? Different verses, and from Bhagavatam, Garga Muni's words, like that. It is established that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. The same personality, Krishna, only same Krishna himself comes. And who is Krishna? Krishna is not a Yuga avatar. Krishna is the origin, he is the source of, he is the avatari, he is the amshi. Yuga avatars are amshas. Ete chamsa kala pumsaha. Right? So all the avatars are actually swamshas or kalas of the original personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. But Krishna is the original supreme. He is Swayam Bhagavan. So that Krishna, he appears only once in a day of Lord Brahma in the Dwapar Yuga. So after thoroughly establishing this, there's one more thing. Then why is he coming? Krishna came in Dwapar Yuga and again he comes in Kali Yuga as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is he going to do? What is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga? The Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga is Sankirtan. So then also the glory of Sankirtan is also established by Lord Brahma. He establishes how simply by doing Sankirtan, one can get the result of all other sadhanas. If you, the only religion actually for Kali Yuga is Sankirtan. In Kali Yuga, there is no other religion. Like this, Brahmaji said. When Narad Muni heard the glory of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the glory of Sankirtan, which is going to be propagated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became, ecstatic. And he actually started playing sweet notes on his veena. Then Narad Muni began to speak to Brahmaji. And he said, what can I say? You have already spoken whatever was in my heart. He said that shackled by past karma, the conditioned soul has been wandering in this world since beginningless. Such a conditioned soul, if he somehow or other gets the opportunity, first of all, he gets the association of a Vaishnava, and he gets to render some small service to a Vaishnava. And by that, somehow or other, if he hears the confidential truths about bhakti from the Vaishnava, and after hearing, if he very carefully endeavors to attain that spiritual perfection, by that, the shackles of Maya that bind him will be opened. Then he can become devoted to Lord Krishna. He won't even desire, what to speak of desiring some material results. He won't even desire liberation. Any of the 5 types of mukti, he won't desire. Then, after that, he starts speaking about. So Mahaprabhu, when he's giving, he's coming to spread the Sankirtan movement. What is he offering through this Sankirtan? He is offering the love that the Brajbasis have for Krishna. And even in that love, there are different mellows, Dasya Rasa, Sakhya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, and Madhurya Rasa. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself with the bhava of Srimati Radharani. So, that which he is tasting himself, that conjugal love, he is offering that love to the whole world. The Supreme Lord is conquered by that love. Externally, it appears like the love of a man or the love of a woman for her paramour. But who can describe that love? So then we saw what is the glory of the love of the gopis in Vrindavan. How even great devotees like Uddhava are aspiring to get the mercy of the lotus feet of these gopis. Uddhava desired to become a bush or a creeper in the outskirts of Vrindavan, so that, he can be trampled by the gopis, and that way he gets the dust of their lotus feet. This is the glory of the love of the gopis. And this is the love that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to distribute in this world. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is worshipped by the greatest personalities of this universe, like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, who is meditated on by the kings of yoga, whose feet are served by many goddesses of fortune. Nobody has the power to describe the glory, the sweet glory of those lotus feet. Even the Vedas are always singing the glories of those lotus feet. And there is no end to the glory of those lotus feet. the Lord who is always resting on the bed of Anantasesh, that Lord has become a servant of the gopis. What to speak of the gopis, even those who became followers of the gopis have also conquered Lord Krishna and brought him under their control. So Narad Muni is saying that who is Lord Krishna? Who are the gopis? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The gopis are the girls who are overcome with deep love for Krishna, who ran into the forest to meet Krishna. And he's saying, I wish to describe these truths of devotional service. Pure devotional service is the greatest secret of all secrets. In Bhagavad Gita, you see, the middle 6 chapters are called Bhakti Yoga. Chapters 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But even in the middle of this middle, what are the middle chapters of the 6 chapters? So the middle chapters are 7 to 12. What is the middle of those 6 chapters? 9 and 10. 9 and 10. So Bhakti itself is kept in the middle of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So first 6 chapters are dealing with Nishkama Karma Yoga. Last 6 chapters are dealing with Jnana Yoga. Middle 6 chapters are dealing with Bhakti Yoga. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains why Bhakti is kept in the middle. Because, first of all, he gives 3 reasons. Bhakti is the secret of all secrets. Anything which is a secret, you keep it hidden. So it is hidden in the middle. Normally, when you read a book, you go to the first page and the last page and try to figure out what the book is about. But that's why it is kept in the middle. The secret is kept in the middle. Second reason why Bhakti is kept in the middle is because it is Sanjeeva Karini. It is the life giver. It gives life to Nishkama Karma Yoga and to Jnana Yoga. Because without Bhakti, Nishkama Karma Yoga won't give its result. And without Bhakti, Jnana Yoga also won't give its result. What is the result of Nishkama Karma Yoga? Self-realization. I'm not this body, I'm soul. What is the result of Jnana Yoga? Brahma Prapti. Merging into Brahman. If you did only Jnana, you won't get Brahma Prapti. Without Bhakti, if you did only Jnana, you won't get Brahma Prapti. If you did only Nishkama Karma Yoga without Bhakti, you don't get self-realization. So by staying in the middle, Bhakti is giving life to both Nishkama Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And the third reason why Bhakti is kept in the middle is because it is Sudurlabha. It's very, very rare. It's very rare to get Bhakti. It is very simple, yet very sublime. It's rare. So for this reason, Bhakti is kept in the middle. But anyway, the point here is, Bhakti is the secret of all secrets. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, 9th, in that, those middle 2 chapters, 9 and 10. What is the title of the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita?
Raja Vidya, Raja Vidya.
Yes, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam. So the title is the most confidential knowledge. 9th chapter is called the most confidential. It is the secret. And yes, there Krishna says, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Raja Vidya means Vidyanam Raja. Raja Guhyam means Guhyanam Raja. That means the king of all secrets. That is why here Narad Muni is also saying that this bhakti is the secret. It is the greatest secret of all secrets. There is no other secret greater than bhakti. And that secret is revealed. It is distributed in Kali Yuga by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The secret which is not known even to Goddess Lakshmi, that secret which is not known to Anantasesh, which Anantasesh has never heard before, that secret the Lord is going to, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he comes, he's going to preach that secret of all secrets to the whole world. So Narad Muni said, "Oh Brahma, please, now you tell everyone in your assembly to take birth on earth. By their plenary portions, they should appear in Kali Yuga." So this is what happened in Brahmaloka when Narad Muni went to Brahmaji. After that, Narad Muni left. And after departing from there, he was playing his veena. Narada Muni bajai veena, Radhika Ramana name. Of course, now he's thinking of Gauranga, beautiful Lord Gauranga, and he's in ecstasy. His music was so sweet and so auspicious. It felt like a shower of nectar on the hearts of all people in this world. It just made the three worlds blissful. And he himself was in bliss singing. Narad Muni singing, Jai, Jai, Hari Bol, like this. And his words fell on the three worlds. What is he singing? That Lord Gaura, accompanied by his weapons and associates, will happily take birth in the Kali Yuga. And then he's praying, please be merciful to me. Please cast your glance on me. Please sprinkle your nectar words on my body. Jai Jai Jagannath, Lord of the universe. And then he's saying, accompanied by his devotees, Jagannath, the Lord of the universes, will preach the glories of bhakti. And the people of Kali Yuga are so fortunate. They are so fortunate. The people are all fortunate. The Supreme Lord will descend to the earth in Kali Yuga, in a place called Nadia. And how he'll be born to Purandar Mishra, Jagannath Mishra. Aha! Accompanied by his devotees, Lord Gaura will sing of Lord Krishna's glories. Accompanied by musical instruments like mridangas, conch shells, kartals. And at that time, a nectar shower of ecstatic spiritual love will fall on the 14 worlds. You see, through the medium of Sankirtan, Mahaprabhu is giving this prema, Vraja prema. In that also, the love of the gopis, the highest love, he's just going to distribute it. He's going to, Lord Gaura is going to preach the glories of glorifying Lord Krishna. What is the glory of singing the glories of Lord Krishna? He will taste himself and he will distribute the sweet nectar rasas of Vrindavan. And he will give it to everyone. He will give it to demigods. He will give it to the Nagas. He will give it to human beings, even the Chandalas. He will give this to everyone freely. Like this, Narad Muni is singing. By hearing Narad Muni's glorification of Lord Gauranga, the demigods, Lord Indra, Lord Chandra, then all great sages, yogis, not just yogis, the kings of yogis, they all danced in ecstasy. And Narad Muni himself, being blissful, continued traveling. And then he came to the earth. What did he see? He had come to the earth in the beginning, and that's where he became sad seeing the condition of the people, and he went to Dwaraka, and he saw Lord Gauranga, and he went up to Brahmaloka, and now he's coming back. He came back to the earth once again. But now he's singing the glories of Gauranga. So he saw that the people were like dead trees, but now there were a host of new sprouts growing on those dead trees. That means there's hope. There's hope. So he returned to the earth unannounced. This is the beginning of Kali Yuga. So he saw religious practices were in chaos. People had turned away from dharma, from charity, vows, austerities. They're not interested. They're only interested in sense gratification. By seeing this, Narad Muni decided, oh, Kali Yuga has come. This is Kali Yuga. There is no doubt. Now Kali Yuga has come. So then he became very thoughtful. He sat down and became wrapped in thought. At that time, while he was absorbed like this, all of a sudden, he heard a divine voice from the sky, Akashvani. Whose voice was that? That was Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath said, in my Daru Brahma form, that means my spiritual form of wood. So that body, Daru Brahma. Daru means wood, but that wood is not material. Brahma, it's transcendental. So in my spiritual form of wood, I reside by the ocean's shore in Nilachala Kshetra. Why? I reside there to deliver the people. And now Jagannath reminded Narad Muni that you don't remember what happened before. I promised I would keep Goddess Katyayani's vow. So all of you remember Goddess Katyayani's vow when Narad Muni went to Kailash Parvat. He reminded Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi. First of all, we saw the glory of Mahaprasad. How Narad Muni, when he heard the glory of Mahaprasad from Uddhava, Narad Muni got a great desire to get that Mahaprasad himself. So he went and served Lakshmi Devi in Vaikuntha, and finally he got some Mahaprasad. And by tasting that Mahaprasad, by the way, Mahaprasad was a great secret. It was not available to everyone. Now we get, isn't it? But it was not available for everyone. But somehow or other, he secured that. And as soon as that touched, that means the remnants of the Lord, as soon as it touched his mouth, he just was in ecstasy of love. And in that condition, singing, he came to Lord Shiva. This was in the past. Now Narad Muni was reminding them. Well, he just came. Yeah, he came. So there's 3 levels here. Now we are in, Narad Muni is on the earth. And now while he's on the earth, Jagannath Ji is reminding Narad Muni about Goddess Katyayani's vow. So what happened was, when Narad Muni previously got the remnants of Lord Narayan and he came to Kailash, Lord Shiva was amazed. What happened? And then Narad Muni glorified Mahaprasad like anything. And Lord Shiva said, you didn't get anything for me. You ate it all yourself. So then Narad Muni had like a little bit of grain stuck in his nail. So he just let Lord Shiva, eat that. And by that, Lord Shiva became so ecstatic. He started dancing. And it appeared that the earth was going to be pushed into the Garbhodaka ocean. So Bhumi Devi, she came running to Goddess Parvati for help. So Goddess Parvati went to Lord Shiva and she said some harsh words so that Lord Shiva would come out of his ecstasy. And then she asked, what happened? And then he said, oh, this Mahaprasad of the Lord. Then Goddess Parvati said, you didn't save anything for me. I'm your wife. And Lord Shiva said, well, you didn't deserve it. Apparently, because he only had like a small piece of a grain. So he said, looks like you didn't deserve it. It was not there in your fate. She became angry and she said, I take a vow that not only will I get this Mahaprasad of the Supreme Lord, but I will distribute it to everyone, to the whole world, even to the Chandalas, dogs, and everybody. I will give the Mahaprasad of the Lord to everyone. This is my vow. I will meditate on the Supreme Lord. And at that time, Lord Vishnu appeared there. And he actually pacified Goddess Katyayani and he said, yes, your vow, I will make sure that your vow will be fulfilled. My Mahaprasad will be distributed through you as Vimala Devi in Jagannath Puri. So Jagannath's Prasad first goes to Vimala Devi and from there it is distributed to everyone. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's name given at the time of his birth was Bimala Prasad. Bimala Prasad. Prasadam coming from Bimala Devi. Mercy of Lord Jagannath. But there was one more thing the Lord said. I am so inspired by your vow, Goddess Katyayani. Your desire, your determination to distribute the mercy, my mercy to everyone, that I'm also taking a vow today that I will also distribute the mercy in the form of the holy name, or through the chanting of the holy names, he will distribute love of Godhead when he comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this had happened in the past. So now Lord Jagannath, in the form of Akashvani, is reminding Narad Muni that you forgot the promise of Goddess Katyayani. Now you go to Jagannath Puri and you obey Lord Jagannath's command. This was the order. This was the Akashvani that Narad Muni heard when he was on the earth and when he saw that no dharma, people had turned away from dharma and he was just thoughtful at that time. He heard this Akashvani from Jagannath, who said that he's there in Nilachal on the shore of the ocean to deliver people. And he reminded Narad Muni of the vow of goddess Katyayani. And then he ordered him to go to Jagannath Puri. That means when he goes to Jagannath Puri, when he goes to Lord Jagannath, he will get further directions of what should be done. So that's where we will start today's session. Oh, I can't share the screen. Okay, so should I just read on my own? Last time Sunil Prabhu had said.
Sorry, Mataji, I will give you co-host. It's my fault.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yes, Mataji, now you can share.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 485. Chintita hoya muni bosila dheyane achambite shubhavani uthila gagane. Narada sat down and became wrapped in thought. Suddenly from the sky, a divine voice said, I told you this already. Chintita hoya muni bosila dheyane. Chintita, being very thoughtful, he sat down in meditation. Achambite, suddenly, Shubhavani uthila gagane. A very auspicious sound, voice was, resounded in the sky. Jagannatha Daru Brahma Aminila Chale Loke Nistarana Hetu Samudrere Kule. Then the voice introduced himself. Jagannath Daru Brahma Aminila Chale. I am Jagannath Daru Brahma. That means Daru means wooden. The transcendental wooden form of the Supreme Lord called Jagannath. And I am located in Nilachala. Why? On the shore of the ocean. Samudrere Kule. My residence is on the shore of the ocean in Nilachala. For what purpose? Loke Nistarana Hetu. For the purpose of delivering the people. Loke Nistarana Hetu. Puraba Vrittanta nahi smarana je tora Katyayani Pratigyaya Agna paile mora. So I told you that also. Puraba Vrittanta nahi smarana je tora. What happened in the past, Purava Vrittanta, that means history, something that happened in the past. Nahi smarana je tora, which you have forgotten, which is not in your memory now. The incident that happened in the past, which is not in your memory now. Katyayani Pratignaya Agna Paile Mora. So, the vow that was taken by goddess Katyayani. And also, I had promised her that I will make sure that her vow is fulfilled. She took a vow, but the Lord appeared and he said, yes, I promised her that I will keep her vow, that her vow will be fulfilled by me. Chalo chalo Muni Raja Nilachala Puri. Achari ho Jagannatha Agna Anusari. Chalo chalo Muni. Go. Muni Raj, not Muni, Muni Raja, the king of all sages. Nilachalapuri. Where should you go? You should go to Nilachalapuri, which is my residence. Achari ho Jagannatha Agna Anusari. So first you go there and then you act according to the order given by Jagannath. Jagannath is only speaking and he's saying, O king of Munis, king of sages, you go to Jagannath Puri and there you should act according to the order of Lord Jagannath. Chalila Narada Muni Ananda hi aya Utila Vinaradhvani Jagata Judaya. Chalila Narada Muni. So as soon as he got the order from Jagannath, he just heard like Akashvani. But as soon as he got the order, what did he do? Chalila. He started off to go to Jagannath Puri. Chalila Narada Muni Ananda hi aya. in great ecstasy, in great bliss, he started off going to Jagannath Puri. Uthila Veenara Dhvani Jagata Judaya. Jagata Judaya. And whenever Narad Muni is traveling, he is playing on his veena and he is singing the glories of Krishna. So when he was traveling to Jagannath Puri, he picked up his veena and is singing, and by the sound of his veena, the fever of the people of the world is cooled down. What is the fever? See, this is the beginning of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the age of quarrel, hypocrisy, adharma, like that. So people are like, material existence itself is miserable, but in that also Kali Yuga is most miserable. So it's as if people are all burning with a high fever. When you have a fever, how do you feel? Very high fever. Like that. But Narad Muni is playing on the veena and singing was like, using a cool pack or something which brings your fever down. Like that. So in this way, Narad Muni started off going to Jagannath Puri. Ha ha, Jagannath boli anurage dhaya, dekhila Shri Mukhachandra Trijagat Traya. Ha ha, Jagannath. Huh? So when he's going, Narad Muni, when he's on his way to Neelachala, he's like, oh Lord Jagannath, ha Jagannath, ha Jagannath, like that. Huh? He's calling out loudly with great love. Anurage dhaya, anurage. With great love, he's calling out, oh Jagannath, ha Jagannath, like that, calling out. And he was running. Dhaya, he is running to Jagannath Puri, calling out to Jagannath. There he gazed, so he arrived. He ran to Jagannath Puri and he was in front of Lord Jagannath. And he gazed at the graceful Dekhila Sri Mukhachandra. Mukhachandra, his face was like a moon. Jagannath's face is like a moon. And Narad Muni saw the transcendental moon-like face of Lord Jagannath. Tri Jagatraya. Of face of Lord Jagannath, who is Tri Jagatraya. He is the Lord of the three worlds. So you see, in this universe, there are 14 planetary systems. Higher, upper planetary. So 14 planetary systems. One way of dividing the universe is 14. So you have topmost Brahmaloka, then you have Tapoloka, Janaloka, Maharloka. So these are the upper planets. And then you have Swargaloka, Bhuvarloka, Bhuloka. This is in the middle. And lower planets, you have Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Total 14. Another way of dividing is 3. Upper planets together is called one section, right? The upper planets. That means Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka. That's one. Middle planets, you have Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. And the lower planets. So there's 3 planets. So Lord Jagannath is the Lord of the universe. Jagannath, Lord of the Jagat, Lord of the universe. Universe means 3 worlds. So Lord of the 3 worlds, Jagannath, like that. So Dekhila Sri Mukhachandra Tri Jagatraya. He saw the beautiful moon-like face of Lord Jagannath, who is the Lord of the 3 worlds. Jata avatara tara ashraya sadana saba kala rasamaya prasanna vadana. Jata avatara Tara Ashraya Sadana. This is important. Who is Lord Jagannath? You see, when we were discussing in the previous sessions, that means previous few classes, you must have come across there, or if you remember, Krishna comes in every Dwapar Yuga. Yes, the Yuga avatar for Dwapar Yuga, you have different types of avatars, by the way. You have Guna avatars. Who are the Guna avatars? Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, Guna avatars. Then you have Purusha avatars, Karanodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Then you have Manvantara avatars. That means there are 14 Manvantaras in one day of Brahma. Each Manvantara has one avatar. For the entire Manvantara, there is one avatar. For example, we are in the Vaivasvata Manvantara now, which is the 7th Manvantara. You know who is the Manvantara avatar for our Manvantara, Vaivasvata Manvantara? Who is the Manvantara avatar?
Vamana.
Yes, Vamandev. So that is Manvantara avatar. Then you also have Yuga avatars. We read extensively, we were reading in this section. For Satya Yuga, there is Hamsa. Then for Treta Yuga, there is Yagya. For Dwapar Yuga, it is said Krishna. And of course, Kali Yuga, we are discussing Pitavarnam, Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya doesn't come in every Kali Yuga. Krishna comes in every Dwapar Yuga, but not the same Krishna. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna doesn't come. His Swamsha, his expansion comes in all Dwapar Yugas as a Yuga avatar. Krishna himself, original Krishna from Golok Vrindavan Dham, he comes only once. Also in one particular Dwapar Yuga. Which one is that? 7th Manvantaras. So each Manvantara has 71 cycles, Chaturyugas. So in the 7th Manvantara's 28th Chaturyuga's Dwapar Yuga, once Krishna is coming. What about in other Dwapar Yugas? Other Dwapar Yugas also he's dark complexion. He's called Krishna, but he's not Krishna from Golok Vrindavan. He's not Swayam Bhagavan. He's a Swamsha. That means in Vaikuntha also there is Krishna. His complexion is, it is said, greenish, dark green, like that. So, the point here is, Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, he is avatari. All these different avatars, Guna avatars, Purusha avatars, Manvantara avatars, Yuga avatars, Leela avatars, Shakti-avesh avatars, all these avatars, who is the source, who is the cause for all these avatars? Swayam Bhagavan Krishna from Golok Vrindavan Dham. He is the source, he is the cause for all avatars. That's why he's called Avatari. Ete chamsa kala pumsaha. After listing all these avatars, Suta Goswami says, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Whatever I have listed and whatever I have not listed, both. That means everything. He only listed a few. It's not possible to list all. At every moment, avatars are coming. Throughout the whole universe in all different species. Who can list all the avatars of the Supreme Lord? It's not possible. But for sample, he just mentioned a few in the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto. That chapter is called the Declaration chapter. That means it is declaring all the topics that are going to be discussed in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam there. So in the declaration chapter comes the Paribhasha Sutram. Paribhasha Sutram comes only in the declaration chapter, what you call Sutra Adhyay, right? Like here we have Sutra Khanda, like that. In that it will come. So that Ete Chamsa Kala Pumsa, all the avatars that he listed, that means all the different types that I said. All these are what? The ones that I listed and also the ones that I didn't list. That means it covers everything, all. They are either Kala, either Amsha or Kala. Ete cha Amsha, Kala of who? Pumsaha. Pumsaha means Purusha avatar. First Purusha. Karanodakshaya Vishnu. They are all either Amsha or Kala of Purusha. In this list, he also said Krishna. That's why he's saying Etecha. Etecha means all these plus whatever I have not mentioned are either Amsha or Kala of Pumsa, of Mahavishnu. But Krishna's tu means but. Bhagavan Swayam. In all these, Krishna is Bhagavan. That means others are not Bhagavan. Krishna is Bhagavan. What does Bhagavan here mean? I think in the last class we discussed, right? In the very beginning of that chapter, he says, Jagrihe Paurusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadibhi. Bhagavan was said there. So that is Krishna, who accepted the form of Karanodakshaya Vishnu for the sake of creation. So Bhagavan, who that Bhagavan is, was not said in the beginning. It is said in the 28th verse, which is the Paribhasha Sutram. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That is why here we are seeing Srila Lochanas Thakur is saying that Jata Avatara Tara Ashraya Sadan. Jitne bhi avatar hai, as many avatars there are unlimited avatars, there's no counting. Jata Avatar Tara Ashraya Sadana, they're all sheltered in him. So you understand what is avatar? Avatar means one who descends. Amsha, you should understand what is Amsha. They're all sheltered in him means what? That means they're all his Amshas, either Amsha or Kala. Kala means Shakti-avesh, living entity who is empowered, that is Kala. Amsha means his direct manifestation, Swamsha, Vishnu Tattva. So all these avatars are either Vishnu Tattva or they are empowered living entities, empowered with his potency. And therefore now they are acting like the Supreme Lord by his potency. So it is him only manifesting a certain portion of his potency. The Lord manifesting some portion of his potency. Then that is known as Matsya Avatar, or as Kurma Avatar, or as Narad Muni, like that. He's manifesting a certain portion of his potency for the sake of a particular pastime, like that. So the point is Jata Avatar Tara Ashraya Sadan. All avatars are sheltered in Jagannath. Who is Jagannath? Jagannath is Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. And Saba Kala Rasamaya Prasanna Vadana. Prasanna Vadana. Vadana means his face is very blissful. Prasanna. Prasanna Vadana. Saba Kala Rasamaya. Oh, also Rasamaya. He is full of all rasas. Rasovai Saha. Right? He tastes all rasas. Krishna. Saba Kala Rasamaya. His Rasamaya means what? Just like you say Jalamaya. If you say a place is Jalamaya, that means it's filled with water. When there is a flood, you say the place is Jalamayam. It's filled with Jala. Vaise, like that. Rasamaya means it's filled with rasa. What is rasa? Ras. Like you have ras, right? Ras means what? It's something which you relish, which you taste, which is very pleasing. So he's filled with rasa, rasamaya. Saba kala rasamaya. All types of rasas. He's filled with them. He's relishing. He's the enjoyer of all different rasas. Lord Jagannath is the resting place of all divine incarnations. His blissful face is the abode of all nectar and all gracefulness. Okay. Charane podiya muni bole karo judi, kara judi kara, हाथ जोड़ के kara judi बोलने लगे. कैसे? Charane podiya muni. As soon as he saw the beautiful moon-like face of Jagannath, Narad Muni fell on the lotus feet of Jagannath. Charane podiya muni bole kara judi. Folding both his palms, he started speaking to Jagannath. Kripa karo Jagannath, aila juga kali. Oh Jagannath, please have mercy. Kali Yuga has come. Kali Yuga has come. Have mercy. Please be merciful. Kripa karo Jagannath, aila juga kali. That's all we can do. We cannot counter anything. We cannot do anything. And if we can do that much, our life is successful. If we can just call out to Jagannath, call out to Krishna, call out to Gauranga, under all circumstances. But our conditioning is, dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. So when we are in difficulty, when there is some crisis, then we call out, oh Jagannath, oh Krishna, oh Gaura. And when you don't have any difficulty, then we go towards, we become complacent, we become comfortable, we don't call out so much. But a pure devotee is not like that. Pure devotee means anyabhilashita shunyam. He calls out Krishna not in expectation of anything. He does not call out to Krishna because he wants to get out of that miserable condition, or because that means he wants liberation. Yeah, he doesn't call out to Krishna for liberation from material pangs. Nor does he call out to Krishna for getting some material result. He calls out to Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. But there is one point that Acharyas explain. Even if a pure devotee in a life-threatening situation, if he calls out to Krishna for help, that does not disturb his pure devotion. But the condition is it has to be a life-threatening situation. In a life-threatening situation, naturally, if he calls out to Krishna, for example, Draupadi, when Dushasan was pulling on her sari, trying to strip her naked in the assembly of all these men, kings, she at first tried to call out Ambarish Maharaj. No, Ambarish Maharaj didn't ask for help. Sudarshan Chakra was there always. The Lord had appointed Sudarshan Chakra. So Sudarshan Chakra took care of it. Ambarish Maharaj didn't ask the Lord for help. Draupadi did. It was you see, for a chaste lady, losing her honor is worse than death. It is a life-threatening situation. Losing her honor was a life-threatening situation. So in that situation, she raised both her arms and she called out to Krishna for help. Save me, Krishna. So does that make her, does that make her fall from pure devotion? No. Because pure devotional service means anyabhilashita shunyam, right? That is why anyabhilasha is not said. Anyabhilashita is said. Abhilashita means desiringness. Desiringness. That tendency to desire things other than bhakti. What are the things other than bhakti? Bhukti and mukti. There are three things: bhukti, mukti, and bhakti. Yes, Uttara. Yes, Yogi. Or Mataji, Kiran. Yes, Uttara also. Yeah. So that does not make one in a life-threatening situation, even a pure devotee. It's not that like we see Ambarish Maharaj, he didn't actually call for help. It's not that every devotee will actually call the Lord for help in life-threatening situation. Not necessary. But even if somebody called out to the Lord for help when in life-threatening situation, that does not affect their pure devotion. They are still pure devotees. That does not disturb that principle of Anya Abhilashita Shunyam is not disturbed. But otherwise, that means they don't have this nature of asking for Gajendra yes, not when he was fighting initially, not at that time. For 1000 years he fought. So at that time, no, he was not. Finally, when he just surrendered to the Lord, offering that, he was offering prayers, which he had memorized in his previous life. At that time, yes, he was calling out to the Lord. He was chanting those prayers. I don't know if he actually called the Lord to come and help him, but he was chanting those. He remembered those prayers which he had chanted in his which he had learned in his previous life. When he chanted those mantras, those prayers, that touched the Lord, and the Lord came immediately there. Yes. But Draupadi's example is given where she actually asked the Lord for help, come and save me from this difficult situation, like that. Like that, yes. So, yeah. So here the point is, Anyabhilashita, right? A devotee does not have this nature of, I'm doing bhakti, so therefore Krishna will protect me. Krishna will protect my family. Krishna will, keep me away from danger. No, he won't expect that. He won't expect anything. But naturally, when you are put into a dangerous situation, it's like it's not a planned thing. Naturally, you just call out to the person who is dearest to you at that time, like that. So that doesn't make him fall from the position of pure devotion. Okay. So Narad Muni is here, and Narad Muni is not even asking the Lord for himself. This is the other thing. Vaishnavas paradukha dukhi. For himself, he has nothing to ask. If he is thrown into a miserable condition, he doesn't pray. He'll just tolerate. He'll think, I deserve this for my own doing. Paradukha dukhi. You see, and also paradukha dukhi means what is the dukkha? Oh, this person is hungry. Please give him food. Or that person doesn't have a job. Get him a job. Or her father is sick. Please make his father fine. Not this type of prayer. Vaishnavas are not praying like that. Their prayers should not go against the principle of pure devotional service. Yes, if the person is already a devotee, then you may pray for that person so that this person will be able to render devotional service, and that there also, if you so desire, no conditions. You cannot order the Lord and say, do this, do that. If you so desire, my Lord, this devotee, or even a devotee's relative, because this devotee has rendered so much service, may that person get the association of devotees, like that, in that sense. Basically, what you're praying for, when you pray for someone, you're praying for the Lord's mercy on that person. How the Lord gives mercy, that's up to him. You cannot dictate. Lord's mercy can come in many ways. So you're just, somehow or other, you want to connect that person to Krishna. Like you want to just assist in that. You pray to the Lord to please cast your merciful glance on this soul. That's all. Not that now I will chant one round so that this person's health will be okay and then this person will live long and all that. And even when you're chanting, that is, you're remembering Krishna. The idea is chanting means you're remembering Krishna. You're engaging in direct devotional service to Krishna. You're taking shelter of Krishna. That is the mood. It shouldn't be like, now I chant one extra round. so that disease will be cured. Okay. चरणे पड़िया मुनि बोले करो जुड़ी करा करा हाथ जोड़ के जुड़ी कृपा करो जगन्नाथ आइला जुगा कली. Oh Jagannath, please have mercy. Kaliyuga aa gaya. Kaliyuga has come. Please have mercy. Kaliyuga, ghora Kaliyuga, right? That means, so what is Narad Muni praying for? For all conditioned souls in Kaliyuga. Why we are suffering? We are suffering because of ignorance, avidya. Avidya means turning away from the Supreme Lord. Because of turning away from the Supreme Lord, now we are captured by Maya. And being captured by Maya, now we are first of all, we forget that we are meant for devotional service. And then we identify ourselves falsely with this body. And under that notion that I'm this body, I belong to this family, this country, and this is my designation. I'm beautiful, I'm ugly, I'm intelligent, and this and that. And then we are suffering birth after birth after birth since beginningless. Seeing this, a Vaishnava feels sorry and is praying to the Lord. Kaliyug has come. Please be merciful. Mahaghora papete podila sarva loke shishnodara parayana magna mahashoke. Mahaghora. Mahaghor. Matlab, how do I say that? Horrible. Yes. Most horrible. Mahaghora. Papete podila sarva loke. Matlab, people are committing the most horrible sins. They have fallen. Podila. Sarva loke. All people have fallen into the most horrible sins. Really. You can't even imagine the type of sins that people are, as the days are, as Kali Yuga is progressing very rapidly, people are just committing unthinkable sins all around us. That is the influence of this Kali Yuga. Mahaghora papete podila sarva loke shishnodara parayana magna mahashoke. Magna Mahashoke matlab they are absorbed in great lamentation. Mahashoka. Shishnodara Parayana. Shishnodara Parayana. Shishno. Udara means what? Belly. Shishna means genitals. Parayana means dedicated. Right? So Shishnodara Parayana means they are completely dedicated to their bellies and their genitals. So you know. Sense gratification. And because of this absorption in sense gratification, Magna Mahashoke, they are drowning in great lamentation. This is the story of people in Kali Yuga. They chase after sense gratification and they can do any type of sinful activity to get that sense gratification. Why they want sense gratification? Thinking that it's going to make them happy. But on the contrary, what do they get? They get only lamentation. They're never peaceful. They're never satisfied. They're never happy. But they're chasing after happiness. It never comes. And because it doesn't come, they actually become bewildered, angry, disgruntled. This is the story of, this is the condition of the people in Kali Yuga at present. I'm talking about today, now. Especially the youth, for want of proper direction in life. There's only one solution. Whenever they realize it, sooner or later, the only solution is Krishna consciousness. Take to Krishna consciousness. Chant Hare Krishna. Take shelter of the holy names. Take shelter of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu. There's no other way. Parama Karuna Pahu Duijana Nitai Gaura Chalu. Ye sab avatar Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. If you want to be blissful, then take shelter of Gaur Nitai. Otherwise, this age is very, very dangerous. Kali Yuga. Mahaghora papete podila sarva loke. Shishnodara Parayana Magna Mahashoka. If you go out of the association of devotees, then you will be surrounded by these people only. Shishnodara Parayana. People who are dedicated to their bellies and genitals. And the result is they'll be always sunk in Mahashoka, great lamentation, miserable life. And being associating with such people, we will also become like that. Shuniya Thakura kichu hasiya kohila karo parashiya tare nibhrite bolila. Shuniya Thakur. So what did Narad Muni say? Narad Muni said, "Oh my Lord, please be merciful. Kali Yuga has come. People are performing horrible, or people will perform horrible sins, and they will simply be dedicated to their bellies and genitals, and then they will be drowned in lamentation." When Jagannath heard this, he smiled. Shuniya Thakura kichu hasya kohila. Slightly, kichu hasya. He smiled slightly and he said, Kara parashiya tare nibhrite bolila. Kara parashiya. Kar mane हाथ. Parashiya मतलब हाथों को ऐसे पकड़ के touch करके, right? Holding the hands of or touching the hand of Narad Muni. Jagannath said, Tare nibhrite bolila. The Lord said, where nibhrite? Mane in that secluded place. Okay? So Narad Muni got darshan of Lord Jagannath. He fell on the lotus feet of Jagannath. And then he said, Oh Lord, please have mercy. Kali Yuga has come. Then Jagannath, touching the hand of Narad Muni, He said this. Where was this in the secluded place? Nobody else was there. Paramani Gudha Katha Kohi Tora Sane Goloke Chalo Muni Amara Vachane. Paramani Gudha Katha Kohi. I'm going to tell you the most confidential secret, the most confidential katha, mane information. I'm going to say something which is Paramanigudha, most secret. I'm going to tell you, Tarasane, Torasane. I'm going to tell you. I want to share with you a very confidential secret. Goloke chaloho muni amara vachani. On my order, you go to Golok. Jagannath is saying, on my instruction, you go to Golok Vrindavan. You see, Narad Muni can travel anywhere. Jagannath is saying, I want to tell you a secret, not just a secret. Paramaniguda. Most secret thing I want to tell you. You go to Goloka. On my order. So that was the last verse for today. But it's only going to get more and more interesting. So tighten your seatbelts for the next few classes. You'll be taken to Goloka. You'll get you'll get a tour of Goloka. Srila Lochandas Thakur will take us. So I can stop here. Does anyone have any questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Thank you so much, Mataji, for so beautiful class as always. And thank you so much for sharing the screen also. It's helpful, Mataji, because I have to go back to the PDF. And thank you so much. Yes, we have a question. Raj Kishori, Mataji, please go ahead.
Mataji, you talked about Bhuvar Lok, and you said that 3 loks are included in the Bhuvar Lok. And I didn't understand.
Middle, Mataji. So you have upper planetary system, middle planetary system, and lower planetary system.
Yes.
So up in the upper planets, you have Maharlok, Janalok, Tapolok, Brahmalok.
Yes.
In the middle planets, you have Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, and Swargalok.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Mataji, in the last class, in today's class also, you have said that in the first canto, third chapter, which is Paribhasha Sutra, in that the chapter is called Sutra Adhyaya. So is it that like fixed noun or it's common noun, Mataji? Like any other chapter can also be called a Sutra Adhyaya? For example, fourth canto, first chapter. It gives a summary of Mataji, all the chapters except Prachina Bhavishit and Pachaita's pastime. It gives the summary of all these incidents.
One second, Prabhuji. Let me use my earphones. My laptop volume is very low. I'm not able to grasp everything that you're saying. Please go ahead now, Sunitpu.
Yes, Mataji. So I wanted to know, like, as you said, the Sutra Adhyaya, can other chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita can be considered? For example, Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. It gives summarize the whole chapter, Mataji. Can it be Sutra Adhyaya?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I guess it, because it is the summary. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. That was the doubt I had.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
would
don't-
think so. I mean, I didn't hear that, but because it talks about everything, the second chapter, I think. And usually Sutra Adhyaya comes in the beginning of the book only. So I think it can be considered. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare
And
Krishna.
if there are no more further questions, we can end the call, Mataji, with your permission.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Glories to Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for the very, very beautiful class. Sorry, Mataji, I have a little bad cough. Mataji, is there any Paribhasha Sutra for Bhagavad Gita also? Since second chapter you said is Sutradhyay.
I didn't say. He said, Prabhuji asked, can we consider that because it has everything, it talks of everything. So yes, I said maybe it can be considered, but I didn't hear. So, but for Bhagavad Gita, I mean, Paribhasha Sutram, I don't know actually. We have Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah,
but that-
Chatushloki we have, Charam Shloka we have.
yeah.
Is 1515 regarded as the Paribhasha Sutra or no?
What is that shloka, Mataji? I'm not able to
Sarvasya
recollect.
Chaham Hridi Sannivishto.
Oh, 18:6.
No, it not. Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto. Mattasmrita Jnanapapanam cha. 1515.
15:15. Yes. I don't know, Mataji. I cannot,
Oh.
I don't know.
No worries, no worries.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the very nice class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Sunil Prabhu, you can take it.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, then thank you so much, Mataji, once again for your valuable time and association. Dear devotees, let us thank Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya
Sindhuvairecha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, beautiful class. So much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji. Thank you so much for joining. We'll stop here.
Mataji.
Thank you, dear devotees. See you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.